Yes, one, two, three, let's go. Let's hit the road. Let's get on the boat. Let's jump on the train. Let's fly the plane. However you want to go, just keep moving. And that's what we're doing right here, Lagos, Nigeria. My name is TC Barra, voice on the radio. Welcome to SOUQ Sports. And of course, this is SOUQ News Television. And there are a lot of stories making the headlines today, tonight, wherever you're watching from. Most importantly, will be the conclusion of the Paris 2024 Olympics. And of course, that heralds the commencement of the Paralympics. United States able to sneak their way into that, we'll talk about that. And of course, Manchester City, Manchester United in the Community Shield Cup. And yes, indeed, we'll look at Nigeria's participation at the Olympics and sports business and who has moved to where and how much was exchanged for what. All of that will form the basis of the program today. Once again, welcome to the show. I do have the usual suspect. He used to be called the Eligibles, but he's been on that part for so long. So that's you fine.
I hear you. Yes, I'm still your humble boy, your loyal boy from the hood, Kevin Ojefe, and I'm glad to be here. This is SOUQ Sports, where we tell you everything you need to know about sport, from the money side to the fun part. So
That's what it is.
don't go anywhere. We're still here.
All right, let's start off real quick. Full throttle, leg on the pedal. I had to take that one off Kelvin as quickly as possible. Nigeria's champions, the Edo Queens of Benin, began their Confederation of African Football Women's Champions League qualification campaign, and this time it was a winning note. Some SOUQ, you might add. Led by Moses Aduku, they trashed AS Garde of Niger Republic 5-0. And that was on Sunday at this stadium in Côte d'Ivoire. We had MMACN breaking the deadlock in the 35th minute. It was more or less a solo effort. Then the captain, Abidine, added the second from the penalty spot 2 minutes into the first half, and it took the Nigerian side only 4 minutes into the second half to make it 3-0, which is a rocket free kick from Blessing Iveda from 22 minutes away from goal. And then in the 71st minute, substitute Esther Moses made it 4 for the NWFL champions, following a defense splitting pass from Esther Inyang. You need to watch that to actually understand it. Now, we had 3 minutes left for a substitute to come in, Joy Jerry, and she hit the roof of the net to put the icing on the cake, to put the nail on the coffin, to give us something, to cheer about. And so with that, Edo Queens top Group B with 3 points, with Hasaka's Ladies and AS Etincelle of on 1 point apiece. So we're going to be seeing another game between Ghana's Hasaka's Ladies and AS Etincelle of Burkina Faso, later on. But then Moses Adukusa will face Hasaka's Ladies in the next game. That's going to be on Wednesday, 2 days from today, at the same venue in Côte d'Ivoire. Trust that we'll be bringing you up to speed. We'll do a bit of a preview ahead of that game on our Wednesday edition of SOUQ Sports. So from Edo Queens to El-Kanemi Warriors, they've made some money from their reward after the President's Federation Cup. So this President's Federation Cup seems to have been packaged better, and reward from the Borno State government to the tune of 35.2 million naira. Massive winnings, you might add. So the secretary to the state government, talking about Buka Tijani, presented the sum to the crew, to the players, to the crowd, in front of the crowd rather, to celebrate them for making it to the President's Federation Cup. Kelvin, from the round of 64 to 32, round of 16, and then worked their way to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and they played the final against Abia Warriors at the Onikan Stadium right here in Lagos. One game that I'm sure Abia Warriors would not forget in a hurry. A chance for them to play continental.
Yeah.
A chance for them to come to the limelight. But then El-Kanemi Warriors, being a very traditional side, were able, to hold their own end, and it was a very emphatic win, against Abia Warriors.
Yeah. A clean sheet for them. Now, apart from even the other packages that comes with it, the money. The money. I think that's actually something to the league. The Nigerian league will soon start, and starting your league like this, it's a very good thing. It's a very good congratulations to them and congratulations to
What do they use the money to do? Sports development is for me is key.
yeah,
You look at the state of your pitch, look at the number of players you have, look at your
welfare of your players,
jerseys.
the welfare of your
Do you
players matters
understand?
as well. Yeah,
All of these things have to be put into consideration.
Yeah.
You've come to this state, and then you also need to understand the fact that El-Kanemi now will be representing Nigeria at a continental engagement, and so it's important that they have enough resources for them to process. It's not the MPFA where you're traveling by road from
because
the
it's
east to
within.
the north, and then the players will be fatigued before they get
Before they
to
will get
the
there.
destination, and by the time they are playing the match, they are completely exhausted. So no, I mean, all of those things have to be put into consideration. Some more funds need to even be made available. 32.5 is a whole lot of money, but then if you consider, how much is put into preparing players, taking them to the venues, taking care of their welfare. In some other climb, you realize that it's just a fraction.
True.
But that game there against Abia Warriors was really massive. That's the Abia Warriors crew, technical heads, and of course the technical bench of Abia Warriors against El-Kanemi Warriors at the President's Federation Cup. It was massive, but then I do have some sort of sympathy to Abia Warriors. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Is it coming for the place of tribe or what?
No, I mean, I used to support that club.
Okay.
But then change of location. Anyway, we'll move on now and let you know that Remo Stars of Ikene might not have a big deal in front of them because AS FAR of Morocco, which is a Moroccan club, that has been a problem to
them.
Remo Stars. When you say Agadaba Churuzo, the king of Persia, that starts in your way. So AS FAR have been that team that has given some trouble to Remo Stars. And so this team currently are losing some of their key players who have been instrumental to their success over the years. Right? And so some sports pundits believe that, with that max exodus, they might not have so much a problem, if they get to meet them at a later date. But then, Moroccan team is, up there.
Well, I think apart from them losing some of their players, the Moroccan team losing some of their players, there's this cycle that comes with a particular club that has been beating a certain club. Even if the club even their lowest point, they'll still find a way to beat that particular club because it's as if they have that club's weakness already. So it might come out easy for them again.
Yeah.
Even though they've lost a lot of their players or they've sold out some of their players, but it might still come out easy for them because you, as a team, you need to clear off that losing side because no matter what they take, these guys will still be scared
Yeah.
to face this club. So it's all about the cycling thing before even getting to the pitch.
All right, so Eswad knocked them out of the preliminary stage of the competition. That was the last year's Champions League, and we're hoping that they don't get to meet. Anyway, if they meet, at least some of the key players have been moved or some sort. Anyway, so we hear that movements have been happening across board this time around, Beyond Limits Academy. We've seen a move from MPFL South there. If you could just take that up for me, thank you. Beyond Limits Academy, we've seen that move to Frenizil, trying to get the correct pronunciation. Okay, so we've seen also Nigerian Premier League, Itodo Ako join Lobi Stars, yes, from Gombe. Itodo Ako has joined Lobi Stars from Gombe after the club's relegation to the Nigerian National League season. And that's sort of expected. You don't expect some players to remain faithful to a team when they've been relegated. I was surprised when the likes of senior man Kelechi Iheanacho
still remained with Leicester City. Even in they did the same thing. They stayed with them even when they were relegated. But now they are back. But even they came back, but some of these players have left already. Some of those players have left already. It's very difficult for a well-known player or a very good player to remain with a club that has relegated because everybody wants to play in the major tournament, major competition. Do you understand? So everybody wants to play with the big boys. Everybody wants to play in the major competition. So when a club relegates, players, managers, or players, agents start looking for a way to move their team, move their players from that particular club because everybody wants good money, everybody wants to be getting good pay.
Once again, I'll be bringing you love from Paris, the Eiffel Tower, and of course the whole of France. Je suis heureux. Just trying out some of the French that I've learned in the past weeks. But then, Nigeria, concluding their outing at the just concluded Paris Olympics with no medal. Unheard of, surprising, heartbreaking. What other words can you use to describe how colorful the opening ceremony was with the outing of the Nigerian contingents and then the return with no medal to show? Well, there was a bit of disappointment for some of the biggest names, Toby Amoshan, the 4x400 meters. And of course, we had a bit of hope, the 76 kilograms category, where Nigeria Anna Reuben aimed to clinch a medal for West African country Nigeria. But then she was defeated in a second round fight, losing 5-2 by points to Mongolia's Davanasan Ama Enk. Wow. Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Eno, has expressed disappointment, had to go to X, former Twitter, to express that disappointment, emphasizing the failure to secure any medal, saying it reflects the underlying issues in Nigeria's sports that requires immediate attention. So who is to blame? Who will bail the cat?
After when I discovered that we are not actually getting any medal again, I was like, what? That's the same question I asked myself. Who are we to blame? The athletes, ladies that went to represent us for the football game, or the basketballers, the Tigers. Now this the sport minister came out and saying that the first excuse was the time was not really enough for them. 4 years. It is 4 years interval. So what at that time do we actually want? I think everything boils down to organizing these people.
Yeah.
Who were the people that were selected first? Because you if you know the people that you've selected and you know the people that you are going to register, you start training with them on time.
Yeah.
Each athlete has a personal coach, and each coach has like 3-4
should have because that's not usually the case.
Come on, so it's a funny thing for over 83 athletes that represented Nigeria. We couldn't even get one thing. I think this should be this is the worst Olympics that we've represented.
Let me find out what Amarachi Mrenye, a sports journalist, has to say about this. She was very passionate about this in the last podcast which I watched. Amarachi, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me so I can go ahead.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Yes, I've been paying attention and listening to your discussion. Quite interesting, and I know too a lot of Nigerians also supporting at the Olympics. We're seeing how the show at the Olympics went down, and Nigeria failed to register her name in the medal table. So, like the other guy you mentioned, it's quite shameful because we actually had 4 years from 2020, 2021 Tokyo Olympics to prepare for this. And then 4 years down the line, we went with what you would regard as our best hands, but failed to get, even if it was a copper medal. But yes, we all have taken solace from that, and then I think we're living beyond that.
So we had Nigerians represent other African teams or other teams, and they won medals, and that has sparked some sort of outrage on social media. Sawa Aid Nasa, Nigerian-born athlete who represented Bahrain, Yemisi Ogunleye, born in Germany to a European mother in Nigeria. She won gold for her country of her birth in shot put at the Paris 2024, and the first of the country since Astrid Kumbenos in 1996. Anete Echikunwoke, was said to be the best was set to represent Nigeria at Tokyo 2020, but was ruled ineligible after the FN failed to follow proper steps. Samuel Omorodion, a Spanish footballer who plays as a striker, he was part of the Spanish team. So some Nigerians in countries taking medals for other countries. What does it tell you? What do you make out of this development? Especially considering the fact, Amara, that we have more diaspora-based athletes in the Nigerian team or Nigerian contingent.
Yes, that being the most of concerns for a lot of Nigerians. And, this spreads up across sports, not just the Olympics and not just for the athletes that went for the Olympics. Nigeria participated in about 11 sports with well over 80 athletes going to the Olympics. And you could only ask that question about preparation. Of course, we saw one making round, a couple of athletes also, when they failed to get properly registered by the Athletic Federation of the country, they had to seek for an alternative, and then maybe their countries of residence had to allow them that. Cite an instance what happened in our cycling, right, where, of course, we had the Honorable Minister of Sport come out to debunk that one and what the reasons why SA had to ride on a German bike. But just imagine in a situation where in the next Olympics she gets called up by Germany. Do you think she would decline that opportunity? That's a lot of questions bordering around lots of Nigerians' mind. I won't say because, of course, we have actually also paid close attention. You could confirm also on X. But the thing here is that just like we have in football across female and male team, where about 80% of them are foreign-based players. We also see that in athletics. But yeah, that wouldn't be the discourse if we actually got medals, because of course they would have been flying the country's flag. And we also know that before the Olympics started properly, most of these athletes went to camp in Germany. Listening to the federation and the coaches that went on from here to Nigeria, they mentioned that they had the best camp experience and optimism built from that particular experience. They hoped that they were going to get medals. But of course, that could also tell you something, that that would have been the best facility they had trained in a long time. So when you have people around here that do not have access to those facilities, take for instance, I hate to say it, but during the All-African Games, we went for the trials, and then just at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, I must tell you, the facilities that we saw there, they were disheartening for a nation to prepare for an all-African Games, our own African Olympics. And then when people don't have these facilities, they can't give their best in training. They won't also get the experience when it comes to training in a very good environment. Take, for instance, playing a very bad turf or playing in a on sand and then playing in a good grass turf. Like, there are two different experiences. And if you don't have both experience, or if you don't have an experience of playing on a good turf, when you get to play on a good turf, it will be alien to you. So I think also part of the makeshift plan for Nigeria is to maybe call up or accept these people that are foreign based. Take, for instance, Toby Amusun and the likes of them, Febo Ofi. They only came back to Nigeria, I think, a month before the Olympics to do that championship in Delta State thereabout, and that would be them feeling Nigerian soil amidst all that. But 80% of Nigerian athletes, football, basketball, of course, you can see the Tigers team, they are all almost made up of foreign players. But I think it's still a lot of things for us to look into to be able to balance it all, because of course Nigerian athletes outside the shore of Nigeria are still Nigerian, so they have the right to represent us at Olympics, but a balance will do the maths.
All right, so let's come to the continent of Africa before I let you go. 12 African teams made it to the medals table. Kenya led the lot after garnering 4 gold, 2 silver, 5 bronze medals, for a total of 11 to finish in 17th place. Other African countries which made the medals table include Algeria, South Africa in joint 44th position with a total of 6 medals, and Ethiopia in 47th. Egypt and Tunisia were joined 52nd with a total of 3 medals, each comprising 1 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze. Botswana and Uganda were also joined 55th with 2 medals each. Morocco was placed 60th with 1 gold and 1 bronze for a total of 2 medals. And then Cote d'Ivoire were in 84th place alongside Cape Verde and Zambia with 1 bronze each. Now, at least they got a bronze each, you would say. But then look at the disparity in African countries as regards, the cumulated table after the Olympics. I think it was Congo that was able to sneak into. Yeah, was able first 20, on the table. How do you react to this? What do you make out of this?
That really shows that as a continent, we have a lot of preparations to do for Olympics, right? And we can only get better after a particular Olympics. I keep saying it, the next preparation for the next Olympics should have started from the day we missed out of chances of picking up medals. As a matter of fact, we should also be training and getting prepared for the next 2 Olympics if we want to get it done. Looking at the likes of Algeria, Kenya, and the likes of them, they are no longer underdogs in sports. We see nations that ordinarily would have been known for sports. They come on and then, of course, surprise and shock the world as it concerns sports. And then people that had been big in sports, they possibly will be priding in their past glory of course, some 1996 Olympics and the likes of them. But we also need to outdo what our record has been. Also, owing to our population of over 250 million people living in a country, and then, of course, Nigerians in diaspora. So we also need to have our best hands represent us and do all the grassroots work necessary to make sure that we are giving our best in sport at every level, just not for the Olympics, but of course in football. Of course, we'll be talking about the World Cup soon enough. So if African countries are prepared enough, if they start preparing for global Olympics, we have what it takes to represent Africa and then get to the top of the medal table. If you see most of the participating team, hardly you will see a team that doesn't have an African in that team. So it goes a long way to tell you that, right, this continent is, they are rich in human resources, but we only need to learn how to harness these human resources to be able to get the best out of them all.
All right, so Nigeria is looking the way of the persons with special needs as the Paralympics tees off, if I had to use the word of golf, the golf terminology, tees off at the 28th day of August. It will be running till the 8th of September 2024, and Nigeria has 24 athletes taking part in the Paralympics, notably Eniola in badminton, Jeremiah, who we're hoping would have on the show at some point just before that competition starts. But we've always seen para-athletes come to the rescue, weightlifting, different categories as you can think about. But then, do you think we're even prepared in that category as it were now?
In over a decade or even more, we know that our Paralympians or para-athletes have always been getting the laurels for us, be it local or international sports, and we really acknowledge and appreciate them for that. But for the organization of our external competitions this year, at least from from January up until now, we really need to do more. Yes, we commend the entire federation and the organizers and the Ministry of Sport when we see things going well. But even if you take a look at the African Cup of the Nation and how we had gone to various events this particular year, you would also confirm that needs to be a lot of work to be done, right? And for the Paralympians, yes, we also need to support them so much because that they also have special needs and preparations going on to this one. We know that, of course, like we didn't exactly come out with any medal at the Olympics, but we are looking at possibly rounding up with something from the Paralympics, and that would also go a long way to at least clear the Nigerian name off the air. But for organization, we need to come back and get back to the drawing board and know what is the problem, because of course we need to address a lot of issues. And if the Ministry of Sports could also hack in to the voices of Nigeria. I mean, you are packaging a program for about over 250 million people to enjoy and be entertained. So you also need to create a forum where you can listen to their plight and hearken to their needs and their concerns as it concerns organization and what to expect in sports. So for the Paralympians, I think we just have to support them so to also boost their morals, because we saw what happened with a couple of Nigerian athletes at the Olympics, the likes of Favour Ofili, when it was reported that they were not able to register her. A couple of Nigerians came to her rescue, and then I want to believe that also boosted her morals. And even after she finished sixth, she was crying. We saw her in flood of tears, but of course, a lot of people also came to boost up her morale. So what we need for the Paralympians is to encourage them, encouraging them also, and hoping that at the end of the whole Olympics, whatever will bring out of it will come back and get back to that board where we need to assess a lot of things that happen at the Olympics and prepare for that very well.
All right, just before I let you go, the United States are winners of the 33rd edition of the Olympics, just held in Paris, of course, and they did that by the skin of their teeth. We saw them going neck to neck with China. At some point, China topped the group. At some point, it was the United States. So they picked up 40, gold medals after the finals of the last event, and only finished above China by winning more silver medals than the Asian giant, scooping 44. We saw an Asian domination initially, right? As the table started having medals and the table started to, look like something, started taking shape. And then just on the last day, the United States were able to, surmount that. Some pundits believe that it was as a result of having more representation, right, at the games as compared to other countries. We also saw Chinese Americans, that's Asian Americans, Black Americans, Indian Americans, American Americans. And so it feels like the Americans were like a collation of the rest of the world. What do you make out of the emergence of the United States as a champion, all the winners of this year's Olympics?
Well, when you have opportunity you have slots and opportunity for representation, I believe it's best you take off all the opportunity. So there are categories of sports where you need to qualify to be able to represent at the Olympics. And simply, they had more people that qualified than other nations. And if you are participating in 50 sports, there are chances. Even before the Olympics, it was speculated that China, the likes of China, even Japan at some point will be going with a lot of medals because they have representative at different sports. So slim chances are that they won't be going with lesser medals than others. But for the United States team, you also would see lots of resilience, even in athletes and their coaches and all of that, right? And then it is strategic. Sports is very strategic, right? In the organization, in participation, and even in the whole politics also. It's a strategic game. And for any country that is intentional and understand that we need to go out and represent, they go all the way to make that happen. And then we saw it for United States when as they actually wrapped up the Olympics as before we had Canada as the defending champions, especially for female football, and then here we see for the Olympics also United States, and then the coach is an intentional nation with intentional crop of team coaches, and then it makes more sense. So if only we pay attention to organization, numbering, participation, I think African teams will also get something out of it.
Well, thank you so much, Amrachi Emeronyi, for finding time to join us on the program today. And we're looking forward to, having you at some point. You had mentioned something about being with a nationwide league side. How is that coming for you?
All right, today's resumption date. I'm just getting prepared to go on the field, so we'll get prepared for the league season.
Forward to also getting reports from you and keeping up with the team. I'm sure they're based in Abuja. Would want first-hand information if you can, so we can use that on the program as well.
All right, very well.
All right, thank you so much, Amachi. Kelvin, United States, we talked about it here, back to back, neck to neck with China, and it felt like China seemed to, they were going to be able to get something out of it, but eventually that didn't happen.
But
United States snuck in.
yeah.
That's
But
how I want to describe
it
it.
is, it is every Olympics, United States,
Yeah.
they are always on the limelight. But this time, China actually fought really hard.
Yeah.
I think one of their advantages is having more competitors.
Yeah.
That was one of their advantages. And they started very well as well. At first, they were actually leading. So the United States, we always come from behind to top. Then before, over the ninth, you see China top again. Even as at 2 days ago, China was still leading with 3 gold medals.
Yeah.
I was surprised. The team just, come on. But they did well. The advantage of having a lot of competitors and the advantage of early preparation.
Yeah. It's key.
Yeah.
So Japan finished third with 20 gold, 12 silver, and 13 bronze. That's a total of 45. And then Australia were in fourth place with 18 gold medals, 19 silver, 16 bronze, for a total of 53. And then the host France finished up in fifth place with 16 gold, 12 silver, and 22 bronze. Not a bad one. But then one sensitive conversation that I would like to just prick the surface a little bit. I would have loved to have Marachi, who is a female, weigh in on that. But then, we already said our goodbyes to her. So the International Boxing Association claimed that Emmanuel Khalif and Taiwan's Lin Yunting from its 2023 World Championship, that they had male hormones, like they were male. I mean, there's no other way to paint it or put it.
So I wonder how this grammar thing. See, one of my questions is this male, or should I say this female? I think they've been boxing for several years, because before they got to this particular level, they went through different levels before they got here. They fought with ladies as well. So nobody in their own leagues or their own little federation said something about it. After they've registered them, they are on the Olympics already, they're on the ring. And now what if they found out that these guys they are all male? What would happen?
It's going to be difficult. I don't know what will happen.
So because
it's going to be difficult to actually describe. But then, the IBA said they had tests, on the two boxers at the center of the gender controversy. And, that test has proven that they are male. The test shows that they are male. And, they previously had disqualified them, talking about Emmanuel Khalif and Li Yuqing. But then somehow Emade has won at the Paris Olympics and has gone with a medal.
With a gold, not just a medal,
Yeah.
a gold medal.
All right, so the boxing in the French capital is run by the International Olympic Committee because of financial governance and, of course, ethical concerns at the IBA. So it's no fault of theirs, and we've seen the impact it had on social media, on the media space, and, of course, the overall impact on the game. But I hope they were able to get their acts together, and we would surmount this next stage. Because, if you're listening to Amarachi, she said organization is key. It is key. We'll take a momentary detour, just a moment, and when we return, we'll bring you other sporting activities aside from the Olympics. So let's say goodbye, Paris, and it's been from Paris with love.
Paris.
On your marks, get set, go. I mean, that's for racing. But for tennis, what do you do? What does the umpire do? Whistle or
You just whistle.
starts at?
That's
Okay,
it.
then the gunshot.
Boah.
That's the way you all sound. Boah. Tell me your gun is Okamedo. Very local gun. Boah. Anyway, Jannik Sinner, the Canadian Open title defense came up, and we saw that competition start off right. Great game from Jannik Sinner, but then the world number one was beaten by Andrei Rublev in 3 sets. And that happened in the absence of Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz, some of the big names.
Yeah.
Sinner was a huge favorite. He was one of the biggest, names at that tournament. And despite the fact he has a reoccurring hip issue, which seemed to also hinder him in Montreal, the Italian was comfortably clear as the world number one, though there will be a significant point shift this week, which is coming. But then sadly he was unable to make it past in that tournament. Emma Raducanu, there's questions over what comes next for the former US Open champion. That needs to be asked now. The decision to skip the Olympic Games and play in the WTA 500 tournament, which happened in Washington, proved to be a sound decision. She made it through the quarterfinals and she had chances to beat the eventual champion, talking about Paula Badosa, in highly competitive quality last 8 encounter. Now that run did propel Raducanu in the rankings of the Women's Tennis Association, the WTA, and after an encouraging run of form on the British grass courts in June and July, he fired her back into the top 100 for the first time in over a year. So just to let you know that we're back with our non-Olympic stories. We'll be monitoring that and be bringing you up to speed with sporting events from across the globe. But then the 2024-2025 season has started as Manchester City were able to clinch the Community Shield at Wembley over the weekend. Now, they faced another Premier League giant, Manchester United, as the game, had to be decided via penalties. We had players on both sides, convert penalties back to back to back to back to back to back. Is that up to 7?
Yeah.
Okay, 7th time, up to the 7th kick. And, we now saw a missed kick, which led to the...
two missed kick from
Manchester United
players.
Sadly. But then Manuel Akanji stepped up, converted and gave us something to cheer about. And then Manchester City fans not too plenty from Nigeria. There are more Manchester United fans than Manchester City fans.
Now the game.
Like saying that Man City are going to begin fan.
Be like so that at least
made the number they increase
just to encourage them.
Yeah.
The game was actually was an interesting game. Now this to show that the Manchester United side has actually changed a lot. I think the transfer window is actually working for them.
Yeah.
The new management is working as well. The new coaching staffs, they are working very well. Unlike last season when it's all about counter, despite they had the fact they had this injury crisis. When Manchester United if the ball is with them last season, they just tone it forward and do their counter. Very straight and boring games. But with the way they played Man City, you see an enjoying game. They hold the ball from behind and they try to do their passes till they walk into the 18. And they created good chances. They would have won the game even before the 90th minute. They would have won the game because they created great chances to even end the game before
so hard luck, yeah?
It was a hard luck for them. So congratulations to Man City. I think they had more composed penalty takers.
Yeah.
Not really hard, because they were not in the game at all. But they had more composed penalty takers.
Well, Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta is set to become one of the highest paid managers in the English Premier League. He will be signing a new long-term contract, which is expected to be announced very soon. Those are some of the words on the street. And it will be a significant increase on his current £9 million a year, £9 million a year salary. He has a year left on his current deal. And, of course, he and Korenke want to tie down this long-term contract. So let's see how that plays out for Mikel Arteta. But then, is he deserving of this?
That's my question. Is he? Because he has been in the club for over 5. It should be his 5th season, or this should be his 6th season. But he has been there. The Premier League, he hasn't won it yet. And there are some other clubs that he hasn't even won. And they actually they just want to encourage him. And if you see the Arsenal team, he has actually built the team to a very great level that they can actually compete with the likes, compete against a team like Manchester City. They had it 2 seasons ago. They were almost there, but they lost it. Last season, the same thing happened. So probably or hopefully they might get something good this new season. And with the signs that he has made, moving for other good players, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Probably they just actually want to increase. They actually want him to be more comfortable and to do more, to encourage him to do more.
Well, still keep it up with Arsenal. Arsenal are planning a move to sign French winger Kingsley Coman. That's planning to sign Kingsley Coman on loan for the season, with Bayern Munich prepared to let the 28-year-old leave. So we also have that Brentford striker Ivan Toney is being looked at by the Saudi Pro League clubs, with Ali Keen on the 28-year-old England international. Chelsea are discussing a deal to bring Portuguese forward João Felix to Stamford Bridge as part of Atletico Madrid's attempt to sign the England midfielder Conor Gallagher. And Newcastle United are targeting a move for Manchester United striker Nikita Paddy, who is 30, as they look to achieve promotion into the Women's Super League. Stuttgart are in talks to sign Armando Broja on loan from Chelsea, with the 22-year-old Albanian striker open to to join in the German club. And then AC Milan are keen on a move to with an option to buy for Roma's 26-year-old English striker Tammy Abraham, but then they are facing some competition from Bournemouth, Everton, and Leicester City. We hear that Liverpool defender Virgil van Dijk has 1 year left on his deal, and the 33-year-old Netherlands international says there's been no change to his contract situation. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka has reached an agreement with Manchester United over an exit settlement, as he plans to move to West Ham. Now, some of these, which of them interests you the most?
I think I'm actually on the support side for Chelsea to go for Joao Felix.
Okay.
Felix is a fantastic player, still very young, and he's going to pair very well with Palmer. Then I'm actually on the supporting side for though it's a rumor, I'm not sure if Nikita Parrish is going to Newcastle, the female Manchester United striker, because she just signed a new deal with Manchester United, a 1 year deal, so definitely he's not leaving now. Then for Broja, I wonder why Chelsea want to let that boy go. Yeah. I think the issue is basically
surplus.
So as well.
I saw a meme or a video of some sort online. I think it was on IG, and it said if all Chelsea players get on a pitch, this is what it's going to look like. I mean, there was a lot of. It felt like anybody saying danda sugar, like you have a lot of ants around sugar, like there were just plenty in the pitch. It was a meme,
I was telling
it's goalkeepers, a lot of players here and there.
To my friend in the office that I think Chelsea we just need to give them a little community. This is
Chelsea.
No more Chelsea
village.
Chelsea
Who's
village.
going to be the easy?
Probably we'll use the coach
or Juvie.
Anyway,
so Manchester United's decision to have a back of shirt sponsor for the first time, seems like it's going to be paving way for other Premier League clubs to do so. So there's a deal with Qualcomm on sports business. Let's take a look at this. We talked about, I think, was it how many weeks ago or last week? We talked about the fact that, clubs could start tinkering on having two sponsors. So I think it was you who said local leagues.
Okay, I think that's for Juvie.
So Juvie said you could have, sponsorship for local competitions and then sponsorship for international competition. And so when you now have, those games, you now go local with your local sponsor and all that. But then Manchester United is changing the dynamics. Front sponsor, back sponsor.
It's Manchester United is a big club, so I think even if they decide to do
short
sponsor, people,
whole
sponsors, brands will definitely want to buy into it. I think since they've started it, other clubs will definitely buy into it as well. It's a good one. It's a good business strategy. Like we keep saying in SOUQ Sports, there is money in sports. Yeah. A lot of money in sports. So this is another avenue.
Well, Daphne and Rai have agreed to 3-season deals with further domestic and international ride packages still on the market. And then for the French Open in the US, Warner Bros. Will take over as the exclusive broadcaster of the French Open after agreeing to nearly triple the annual media rights. And UNext secured exclusive media rights to the Premier League and FA Cup in Japan, and what is now a 7-year deal, and that's in order to reinforce its competitive edge in the local streaming market. So over the past few weeks, what we've seen and what we've noticed is, breakages of different broadcast rights Africa, Germany, Asian market, in the Americas. So you just give it to those individual organizations, and whatever they want to do with it, they do with it. For a long time in Africa, some set brands have held sway, to the Premier League rights, and that has also limited the coverage because you got to go to them, some sort of monopolistic tendencies, and so a lot of business persons have said break this thing up a little bit. If you have concentration, say West Africa, East Africa, North Africa, South Africa, it would be a lot better to manage and you have more viewership and more businesses. But I don't know, it's what it is, and the status quo has remained, especially in Africa.
But can it change?
Yeah, it can, especially this period ahead of the commencement of the league.
Yeah, it can be changed. It should.
Anyway, we'll be dropping the curtain on the show. It's where we'll let the curtain. Just been great being here. A little under the weather, but then we've been able to pull this through, and I'll be thanking you for that. Feel like you're like your strong support system, my spine. Right.
The league is starting this week, Friday, and it's going to be
6 days.
Yeah, 6 days from now.
18th.
Yeah, 4 days from now.
16,
16, Friday.
Oh.
Yeah, Friday. It's starting on Friday, and it's going to be a massive one. Manchester United against Fulham.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great game, and guys,
you're excited about it?
Yeah, no.
Are you excited about the MPFL?
A little.
I got you on that one.
No. When it comes to that, how many of our local channels are going to air their games? How many persons even are aware about it? If we walk down the street now and ask some of these young guys,
where can you watch?
Where can you watch? Nobody can actually provide that. No, we won't get an answer for that. But awareness matters a lot. If a particular channel can be dedicated for all the people who would want to watch, because a lot of persons want to watch. I was working on something, and
the problem I think we have in the Nigerian system is the fact that almost all the games are played at the same time. I mean, you have 20 teams
playing at the same time,
and I mean, as much as 10 games should happen in a weekend, in a match day, Abi?
Yes.
And so you now have as much as 7 games going on in one match day. So what the EPL did is break it up. You have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Okay.
Right? And so if you now have 10 games spread across, you have an average of 2 or 3 games per day. So you can have like an early weekend, maybe 1 game on Friday, 4 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and maybe 1 on Monday. So if they can replicate that table, you'd have concentration. You'd have people being able to focus. Not have as much as 8 games on Saturday, and then it makes the broadcast coverage pretty difficult. Even if you need to get
and even limited.
Yes, because even if you need to move people around to cover those games, to be a problem. But then what we need to have is ensure that we can do as much as 10 coverages a weekend, and then these people are prepared well ahead of time. I mean, they should come for consultation. Let's do consultancy.
You just give it out for free.
Yes.
But if you actually want to get more, meet TC.
Anyway, this is how much we can take on the show. Many thanks to Kelvin. Do you want to do any final words again?
No. Any final word? No. Probably Wednesday.
I am TC Barra. It's been a pleasure being here with you. Many thanks to Amrachi and Mira for joining us. And of course, everyone who's behind the camera, ensuring that you can receive us crisp, loud, and clear. You rock. Follow us on social media across various platforms, SOUQ News Television. I really and sincerely appreciate you. Austin, you do well, well done. My name is TC Barra. Ratata.